Anthony, this morning we're touching this very important topic and teaching people to accept that they are imperfect. We are not perfect. Which are the advantage or disadvantage a person can get if he accepts his imperfection? What and how you will explain to the person it is important for you to accept that you are imperfect?
I believe when you go to the scripture can tell you if you are perfect or imperfect. First and all, you have 10 commandments. I don't want to say the religious part much, no, but it's just because we have a book that teaches us to be wise.
Right.
And when we read this book, it's manual. Job, referring about Job. It talks about Job that he was perfect. He was a straight person, and he was a man of fear of God, and depart from all evil. I believe if we measure ourselves, if we are perfect, we have to think on that, what God thinks about us, how God sees us as we are perfect. If we measure ourselves with the scripture, then we will understand and say that we are not perfect. Some people may look at themselves physically and don't accept themselves physically because maybe their nose broad, maybe their belly big, maybe their eye kind of shoot out of their head, maybe their head top, and people like say, I am imperfect. You understand?
Yeah.
Personally, when I was growing up, the first thing of me beginning to grow was my feet.
Okay.
When I had 14, 15 years, my foot was 45. My foot was big.
Wow.
But I didn't know that after I was going to grow up to have 1.98 meter. You understand?
Okay.
So that was my root. The root grew up before the tree to sustain it.
Imagine if you got 190 with 135 foot. You'd have to follow every day.
Just imagine. That would be really imperfect. Okay, I had the next problem, I had the next issue was, after I have reached 190, I was very slim. And traveling to the continent where the promedia of the people is 1.60, 1.60 that's the promedia, and you have 190 looking over the head of everybody, so you look like a phenomenon. So I think it makes you feel like you're imperfect compared with the other people.
Yeah.
No? But after the years passing, I do analyze and say, okay, my height is a good height for basketball. My height is a good height to reach things that other people can't reach. I can help other people that can't reach something if I go to the mall. Something on the high stand I can't reach it. Many times they come to me and I reach it for them. I hand it to them. One of the things that I was imperfection, when I'm going to buy a pair of shoes, normally you find up to 43 and I weigh 45. So that was a difficult. I thought I was imperfect in that way. But I come to analyze and no. You have people different, but you have to accept your difference between the people. Now, coming on the personal and the professional part, we can't force other people to be like we.
Right.
And other people can't force us to be, like them.
Right.
So we have to accept a person, just a person. For example, my wife have her way of being and support, learning, living together and support. You want to analyze and say, okay, she this way or such a way. So you learn to know the person and say, when the person comes in such a thing, you say, okay, that is normal, that is how we have been and support, and I have to accept that she is that way, and that what I not got to do nothing with that. It change, and maybe I could say, if you could better this or better that, but to change the person, obligate the person to pay that is imperfection of a person. And when you think that way, to change a person, you can try to guide a person, help a person, or support, and you can get help on the other person too. But I believe, and I surely believe, each and every human being on the face of the earth, the only one that the scripture talk about is was perfect was Job. The Bible talk about no other person that was perfect. So that means that none of it are perfect. We have some class of imperfection, but we have to live with that imperfection. We have to accept ourselves with those imperfections and go ahead to our goal even we have sort of imperfection.
Anthony, how we can get this teaching in the people tell them say they are not perfect and not make it become one way for them to become conformist. What I mean to say, by I not perfect, so I know if you do no effort to do after nothing, no care how I do it, and be perfect. And a lot of people they use this mentality, this way of thinking, just to fold their hand, doing nothing, not working on themselves, and not striving to better themselves, because I'm not perfect, nobody not perfect. And then start use it as a way to lead people to be conformists, to be, to stay there, to don't push themselves to be better. How can we manage it? We are not perfect, but we can better, and we must make of ourselves a better version every day. What you will say in this regard?
Okay, that is a nice question and a nice start for. If we go to a school and we have such a behavior, to be part of that school, on the key to that school, we have to change that behavior, right? Meanwhile, we change our behavior. Meanwhile, we change our behavior. Anyway, we're not perfect, but we have to adapt ourselves. We have to adapt ourselves to the what you call the society, what you call the system. You can, then tell you said you can enter into this building barefoot and so forth, or you can go in there without necktie. No, I don't wear necktie and I don't wear shoes and I have to go in there. No, you have some buttons, some patrones, or you have to follow, and you are not, neither me, neither you, nobody is over the system or the law. You understand? So something is the law that you have to fulfill. And personally, if we have some limitation, we can't just say, no, I have this limitation. We have to make some effort. In the scripture tells us that we have to force ourselves to reach such a goal. So not because I have such kind of limitation, I have to stay with my limitation. And I believe what I will tell the people, okay, you have this difficulty in your life, you have this problem in your life, you have this way of being in your life, but that not mean that you have to stay there. You can change, but you can change for good. You can change for a better, the better you're not to please nobody, but you can do it for show yourself that you are capable to do something more better than and better your situation than what you're into in the moment.
Okay.
Anthony, before we finish, what could we tell to some parents? You know, parents, it's much easier for adults maybe to make this type of, to analyze this type of situation. But parents, children, teenagers that maybe today have this type of problem, what could we tell parents, because they have a lot of responsibility sometimes in how children and young people see themselves today, and we see a lot of depression because they are always thinking or looking on themselves in another way. What could we tell parents today to regards of what we're talking this morning?
Okay, first of all, we have to start beginning from there. Parents never prepare to be parents. That is a big problem we have right now. But I believe you have a lot of ways to learn from other experience. As parents, you have to learn from other experience. There is a social media out there. There is technology out there. You can reach a lot of instruction to us to come to be a better father, a better mother, a better parents. You understand? When the children are born, they bring something under the hand. This is the way to treat your children or to guide your children. Some people not in far to a college, you know how to treat their children and nothing. So maybe some people just but that not mean they have to say so. What I want to tell the parents, and especially these young parents that have young born nowadays, you have to prepare yourself from now. because day by day the children are going to grow. They will start in kindergarten, but after they're going to school, they're going to a second level of education and so forth. And they want to get married and they want to ask questions, and you have to prepare yourself to answer those questions. Okay, in the behavior of the children, then remember that you are the authority, you are the parent. You can't overload them, so you must scold them.
Okay. Antonio,
You have to
muchas
scold them. And the people take it in treat, you understand? But you have to talk to them with authority and make them know when I'm going on wrong.
Okay.
And the other way, make them know that they are growing and you have to be all or nothing. Everything coming in the time, but you need to be their guide. The parents have to be the guide. Not only the teachers in the school or the friends that they are surrounded, but they have to know that when they have some problem, who they can go to, the parents. And the parents also have that knowledge to guide them, and they know they have to investigate together and care through that.
Antonio, muchas gracias por estar con nosotros esta mañana, compartiendo tu experiencia. Ciertamente le ha servido y le servirá a muchas personas que están luchando contra este sentir.